All right, so I'm in here I'm starting about an hour later than normal because I had something to do this morning. So just locked up the phone. I marked up a couple trend lines. To me, it looks like a downtrend break, new low, uptrend break, new high. Creates this triple test right at the overnight highs, range highs. So that's played out. Get a strong short-term downtrend, get to close outside a new low, create a double bottom, right, creating the overnight lows here. Looks like a daily range where you clearly have these highs and these lows. First, it looks like the short-term uptrend gets a break, a new high. Prices then continue upwards. So you draw this slightly larger uptrend, then gets a break and two clear legs up. Short-term downtrend gets a break and new low, coming close to this support area. Now you get two measured legs up. Short-term uptrend gets a break and looks like two legs up here, but it all makes the second measured move up. Downtrend now has a break and new low, and you're coming back to the support zone. So I'm thinking that prices are probably going to bounce off this zone now that they've played out for this downtrend. And we've already bounced here. But I do want to notice that we are making lower highs. So this is a high here, lower high, slightly higher high here, but then a lower high. And after coming off of the support, you'd expect prices to go up to the resistance, but that's not what they did. So feeling a little bit of a bearish slant to this range. If you get a bullish signal bar here, that's a potential trade because you would have prices coming off of this support zone, be a double bottom. Good signal bar after the downtrend played out, but it's a little bit aggressive for me. I'd rather wait for some sort of higher low or prices to pop above the EMA. Had to mute the mic there so I could blow my nose, but I do think that is a possibility because it is a very bullish bar. Downtrend looks like it's played out now. Far from the EMA, so there's plenty of room back. I believe there's plenty of room back at least. Yep. And what I'm looking for is some kind of higher low or something to prove that that is the what's going to happen. Got my cup of coffee. There's nothing more to that. I just have my cup of coffee. I was gonna follow up with like something, but I got nothing. Okay, so we are getting that follow through. So big bullish bar and then gets followed up with another perfect bullish bar. Again, regardless, I say again, I haven't said this today, but regardless of whether I actually took this trade or not, the fact of the matter is I noticed this as a potential. I thought it was a little bit too aggressive for myself, but I saw it, I considered it, and that's what matters more than anything. So are finding some rejection off the EMA there. I'm still thinking a possible higher low. So we have moved a little bit far, but if we got a higher low here, then I think I would still be interested. I'd prefer it to come down a little bit more, probably. Just checking to see if there's enough room to scalp before the EMA, and it looks like there is. I think I already checked that, but I had to double check there. That's a pretty big bearish move down. Looks like you are probably going to get that higher low there. Well, senior bar is looking more neutral now. I thought it was going to end towards its highs, and it might still, but I don't think I'm interested in that. It's a really big bar, kind of right at the EMA. I'm going to wait, see what prices do following this up. I definitely feel like there's a bearish slant here. Like I mentioned, we're making lower highs each time and lower lows. I don't see a clear downtrend though. It's totally more range-like. And we are coming off the lows, but I'm just not sure how much weight I should put behind expecting prices to go higher. Because they've kind of proven to not be going higher. I mean, 2 likes playing out super early. This one's playing out super early. So let's see. Looks like we might come down and test this area again. Definitely don't like that as a higher low. I'm starting to like the higher low less and less as prices are moving here. Still a potential though. I don't want to get locked into that idea, but I definitely still see that as a potential trade. I'm trying to narrate as many thoughts as I can so I can know exactly what was going on in my head whenever I watch this recording. Okay, so we're coming down to test this area again. I would still consider a bullish bar down here, kind of as like a triple test. It's looking to me like I don't know, it just feels like we're going to go lower right here though. We might not, but it just kind of feels like we are. Just trying to see if we do get like a really strong bullish bar there.
Order submitted.
What would get me out before the EMA? Okay, so we're ticking lower. Downtrend looks like it's played out. Possible triple test down in this area, 1, 2, 3 off this support zone. I believe that is played out. I feel pretty certain about the context, but not so much the setup. But I think I am going to take that. So I'm going to drop that in. So I want to get out before the...
Order filled.
I mean, I guess that wouldn't quite get me out before the EMA, but be pretty close. So I'm going to try that one out. Like I said, I'm pretty sure of the context. I do feel like this downtrend has a break and new low. But I am feeling a little bit hesitant because, like I mentioned before, we're making these lower highs. And after prices have come off of this support zone, they haven't really taken off. But I do think this downtrend does have a break and new low. I think there is a pretty clear triple test down here. It's a good signal bar. This does make a lower low. This is the type of analysis that I should be doing before I take the trade and not after. I think that is one thing to mention here. So the fact that we're backing up is not really a great sign there. So it won't really have me trading through the EMA. It won't really have to get through it, but it will have to get up to the EMA. So at least it's not too far of a target. So I do feel okay about that. Yeah, not looking too great.
Stop filled.
And that really rocketed down there, so it must have run some stops. I'm thinking it probably ran some stops. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of wider downtrend here that I missed. I mean, maybe it's something like, even if it's something like that, it would still have the break and new low. So maybe something even wider. Like that maybe, I don't know. Oops. So prices are now clearly coming off the support. Before it was kind of in that support zone, but now it's clearly touched this support and prices look to be continuing lower, at least for now. We might be moving towards a measured move down, potentially. That downtrend doesn't look quite right to me, but it could be. It's also possible it's a spike in channel. Possibly. Or nothing. Could just be this and then a break in 2 legs down. Still thinking that we could see a long entry around here if we start to gain some upward momentum. Okay, so still continuing down here. Makes me think maybe this downtrend, some sort of downtrend is correct. Not that one though. Could be that one, but I kind of doubt it. I'm gonna check out Mac's chart and see what he's looking at here. Just realized it's after that time. Okay, so it looks like Mac's chart is pretty similar to my own. He doesn't have this trend wider like I had it. Instead, he just has the shorter term one. Everything else basically the same. Even this he has shorter term. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so Mac has basically the same chart. He doesn't have this downtrend, but also I don't think he had enough information yet to draw any kind of downtrend there. So I want to see if that ends up being correct. This doesn't really look like a spike to me. It could be a spike, but I don't know. So it appears my read was just off there, or here. overall, I'm expecting prices to fade the range, but I might be willing to play this downtrend depending on what happens, like what kind of setup appears. Like if there's a perfect 2 legs back to this downtrend, then I might still be willing to take that. But the thing is, I'm not certain about the downtrend, so I'm actually going to remove it and draw off the opposite side and see if I can get something to fit there. Maybe this could be a spike. Nothing quite fits. I mean, unless you kind of put it like halfway, in which case you get something that kind of fits there. So that's what I'm going to look at for now. But I'm worried that I'm being too fancy with my trend line, because I hate whenever it's kind of like in the middle or just like weird like this. Okay. At least it has some midline play, but that doesn't really confirm it for me. Looks like prices are pulling back to this range now, so we're testing that. I was outside like all morning, so my allergies are really acting up. Setting up for a potential second entry short, like I would consider that if we kind of keep holding this old support as resistance. So now we have a first entry. Like if we came back, create that second entry, either close to or off of this downtrend, plus kind of holding this resistance, that would be a very interesting setup to me. Try not to let that first loss affect me at all. I mean, I thought it was a good trade. I took it. I was wrong. And I'm moving on. That's all you can say, really. It's looking like I think this might be a little bit less steep because of the way the prices are playing off of this potential midline. Again, it's odd to me to start it like right here. That's a very strange place. I don't like that. Chances of getting a second entry short are pretty low now that we just made this double bottom. I think if we get a second entry short here, I'm going to be less likely to take it because of how like sideways prices are looking. Also, we already made this double bottom. I would have preferred to see like a 1 perfect 2 legs back, you know, like a 1, 2 legs back. Just continuing on down. It's incredible how wrong you can be sometimes. Like looking at this one. So you clearly have a bias here. And I was just thinking that it's probably best to just trade whenever there is a bias. Like I can still point out trades whenever there's not. You know, like I can point ones like this out and say, yeah, you know, that's probably a good trade. It just sucks you'd have to skip ones like this where it's like, that's clearly a break and new high and a triple test. Like, yeah, boom, easy. But then like I had this one where it was a break and new low and then what looked like a triple test. So I don't think I can hit those very consistently. That one doesn't look as clean as this one though. So I guess, I mean, I'm just not good at picking them yet. In fact, I'm not good at picking any trades yet, to be honest. So it looks like we did create a breakout and a pullback of this support level, kind of holding as resistance. It is kind of a smaller breakout pullback though, so I wouldn't be surprised if prices give it another test, you know, another really clear test. But for right now, I'm still looking for shorts. So I'm hoping that we'll get some sort of second entry short, like kind of right off the trend line or something of that nature. But right now, this downtrend does look correct so far. I want to play around with some other ones. I don't want to get complacent with it. That doesn't look right. Let's see. That doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. That might be it. Maybe it's just a little bit closer. It's like if you do draw it off of this, maybe it's just like kind of cutting that bar a little bit. That's the best thing so far. Because usually it's either off these, like the high of this bar, the complete high of the wick, or the body. So off the body makes me feel better. something like that. It doesn't have to be like 100% exact, but I think that that's pretty dang close. It's not really much to say or do. It's just like, okay, I'm watching to see if there's a pullback. Once there's a pullback, I'll decide whether to enter or not. And I guess that's the beauty of it, the beauty and the simplicity. That's probably what I should be doing. I shouldn't be probably having to pay super close attention all the time. I mean, it should just kind of like strike me like a, I don't even know, like a lightning bolt. Well, I don't know, because that kind of comes out of nowhere. It should hit me like a brick wall, I guess. I don't really know where I was going with that. Okay, so that's one clear leg back. Let's see if this downtrend is able to hold. I guess we'll be determining whether it's correct right about now. It's looking like prices are just going to push right on through there, right up through this support too. That doesn't mean that it's incorrect, but it certainly means that I'm not really going to be looking for shorts. Because now we're coming back within this range, for one. Well, that's really it. We're coming back within this range, so so we're not holding below it. And we're certainly not holding this downtrend, so I'm not exactly looking for any shorts. But not exactly, I mean, I'm not really. I mean, maybe, I guess maybe if you really shot down here and got like a lower high, but it would have to be a really good setup. I wonder how many trades work out where everything is saying one direction, there's nothing or basically nothing saying the other direction. So like, for example, I don't know, this downtrend. Let's say, I don't know, that's not a good example. I can't really think of one, but I'm curious, and I'll know what I mean later whenever I watch this. The problem with those is they're just so rare, though. So it's like, it's tough. So we did push up strongly through this EMA and come back within this range. So I'm interested to see if prices are going to hold the EMA or if they're going to shoot right back on through. Not really getting much follow through momentum. So this uptrend is kind of waning right now. Not getting much follow through momentum at all. It does look like it's getting a break in new high, but I would not be willing to short. And the reason is because we're back within this range. I can tell that I've gotten more conservative after this loss. So after this loss, I've started thinking, well, I'm just going to wait for the ones where I'm completely 100% sure. And I feel like I've kind of, in a way, reverted back to how I have been trading for a while now, of just waiting on those like sure things and really trying to like wait, and that's fine, but and that's, I don't know, it's kind of what is recommended, I guess. But then the other piece of that is, well, if I do that, then I'm not going to be learning as much, I feel like, because I won't be taking the trades that I feel like are good. But it's, I don't know, it's not as important to take the trades as it is to notice the trades and know that I noticed them. So I guess one way to do that is to say, only take the sure things, like the ones that I would really feel comfortable taking live, and then the other ones, point them out. So like I did here, like I pointed this one out and I said, well, I think that's a good one because, you know, downtrends played out. It's a good signal bar. It's off of this level. And I pointed it out in real time. And that way I'll know later on, hey, you know, I did see that. I just didn't think that I should take it. That's probably the way that I should do it. So same with this one, you know, point that out and say, you know, I see that, but I don't think I should take it. And here I was wrong. I saw it and I did take it. And I was wrong on two fronts. I was wrong that I shouldn't have taken it, or I was wrong that I should have taken it. I shouldn't have. And then I was also wrong about the context and the trade itself. So instead, I should probably wait on the clear, you know, with trend entries, and everything else. Like, don't just ignore it. Still point it out and still learn from it and realize when I'm right and wrong and try and improve on those areas, but only actually like put an order in on the ones that are with trend and I'm really certain about. So I'll watch this later and I'll see that. And I think that that's probably a good way, a good middle ground, a good thing to do there. Okay, so we're pushing back below the EMA. Now it looks to me like if you kind of draw this pretty tight here, it looks to me like there's a close outside and a new high. So it's possible that I'd be interested in a lower high. Looking for the break and new low of this downtrend. It's definitely a possibility. Okay, so we're moving up strongly. So it's possible that this is not a true break and new high and we're moving up to it now, but we're clearly holding off the EMA and it looks like kind of bouncing off this old support level. So it was support, it broke, and now it's coming kind of back into play there. There's a lot of pops on my fingers right there. I could see the potential for a short here. It's not the greatest context-wise because of this range here, but after the downtrend is broken with the two legs up, I could see possibly wanting to ride this down to the EMA if you get a good bearish signal bar. That is one that I've seen Mac mark similar ones, but it feels a little bit aggressive for me. So going by what I was saying earlier, pointing out that's a possibility, but not going to take it. Do want to look if it's possible to get in for 1-to-1. It is. You'd have to get in about here. Of course, that's assuming the bar ends bearish. But man, am I tempted to take that. I know it's not the greatest entry ever, but I know I'm tempted. Well, bar didn't end bearish anyway. I forgot it's the, what is it, the NCAA? Yeah, I don't really watch it, but I wonder what's going on. That's so dumb. That is so dumb that I just got interested by that. Like, I'm not really interested at all in basketball, and it's just funny to me to think that, like, whenever I'm here, for some reason, like, anything else is more interesting than the chart. Like, that is not a good sign. If I'm planning on doing this for a long time, it's not a good sign that I'm like so easily distracted. Prices really seem to be struggling to go higher, and this downtrend still needs to break a new low, so I'm thinking that prices are probably going to go down there and do it. Not sure though. Of course not sure, because we are coming back within this range. It just seems like the down bias has precedent and has the upper hand. It's possible you get some sort of spike in channel. It's pretty far out though. Not terribly far out, but it's a possibility. Definitely don't want to draw anything from here though. That's too much of a gap right there, and we're not turning down like that strongly. I'm thinking if we, after, now it looks I don't know where to start there. It looks like this uptrend clearly has a break and new high now. There we go. That's what I was looking for. And if we got some sort of lower high with a really good bearish bar, I think I'd be interested in that. The other thing that I would be thinking is, okay, if we continue to trend higher, then I'm gonna just go ahead and ditch this downtrend and start trading along with that and say that this range is really the dominant structure. And possibly, I don't like the look of it, but I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I'm not even going to consider that as a possibility. I think this downtrend is most likely the correct one. Okay, so we are getting kind of a strong push down there. Let's see if it's able to close through the EMA. Need to be careful not to start hope trading. And right now, like I can feel it. I'm saying, well, I hope that it closes below this EMA and I hope we get this bearish bar. But if I start saying that, then it's going to skew my judgment and I'm going to start like letting something slide that I shouldn't. So I need to be careful about that. Slightly higher low compared to that one, assuming prices turn up there. Looks like they're struggling at that the EMA and that support from the range. I don't know if that spike and channel down is correct. Unsure about that one. I was listening to a podcast yesterday. He was talking about this ping pong player. And he, first off, was really, really good. But he wasn't hitting crazy shots. He wasn't hitting drop shots. He wasn't hitting it to the opposite corner and trying to cross you up and everything. All he was doing was making sure that he hit the ball back every single time. And he just waited for you to mess up. And I've seen that strategy in chess as well, where you just relentlessly focus on protecting your own pieces. And then once all your pieces are protected and you see an opening where the other person has messed up, then you seize the opportunity. Well, that kind of makes me think of trading a little bit. I was just thinking, oh, maybe if prices ticked higher right here and then turn lower, that could be a really tricky entry. It's really technical. You have to pick up on a lot of subtle cues in order to get that. Well, why? Like, why take ones like that? Why not just wait for those super simple ones where you wait for everyone else to mess up, and you just keep doing the most easy possible thing over and over, something that you know you can do consistently, and just do that. I mean, that's just like the with trend entries, with trend, maybe even just second entries, with trend 2 legs back, you know? I don't know. Feels like I might be trying to do too much recently, especially yesterday. Feels like I was really trying to like, oh, you know, I'm seeing this or that or whatever, and it's like too fancy, getting too fancy with it. With that being said, if we do get a lower high here, there's a chance I still take that. So maybe a good question to ask myself before taking a trade is this a fucking banger? Is this a layup? Is this the easiest goddamn trade I've ever seen? And if the answer is no, then just skip it. Maybe I should start watching multiple markets, you know, watch the NQ, watch the ES, and watch the whatever it is, the crude oil, whatever, and just wait for a fucking banger. Like, yeah, it doesn't happen often in the ES, but it probably happens pretty often between those 3 markets. Just an idea. I mean, that comes with its own set of challenges, though, of course. I'm tempted to just go ahead and hop off. I was really just about to say it, like I was right on the tip of my tongue, like, yeah, I'm just going to call it. But then, I don't know. Look, I'm here to learn. Just got to stick it out. Looks like this short-term uptrend has a break in 2 legs up. But we're still like struggling to go higher, like really struggling to go higher. You would expect, especially after the failed breakout, for prices to really shoot up. That's not what's happening though. I wonder, and I'll have to look into this later. I wonder if I could put in some sort of like message anytime I try and put in an entry. Like if I try and put in a limit order, I wonder if I can have like a little pop-up that says, is this entry a fucking banger? Or like, is this entry a layup? Are you 1000% sure that this is the easiest setup in the goddamn world? Something like that. I don't know. As like a little reminder. Because sometimes it's so easy to just be like, oh, boom.
Order
Sell.
submitted.
Boom. Done. I'm in, you know?
Order
It's like it can happen
canceled.
so fast. Maybe just that little reminder of like, okay, you have to click a whole extra thing. I have to like look at it. I have to say yes, you know? I wonder if there's one that I could even type in. Like I have to type something like, yes, this is a perfect entry. I really love this one. Blah, 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 blah. Or even just typing yes, you know, just something more than just a click, because it'll get pretty easy to click, you know. At some point I'll just be like,
Order
boom, boom,
submitted.
you know, I'll click it without even thinking
Order
about it.
canceled.
I don't know. Just an idea. I was thinking yesterday of getting a heart rate monitor. So that way I could like put up like a graph. I don't maybe graph wouldn't be right. Put up like, I don't know. I could look at any time that I'm like, let's say like earlier whenever I took this trade, I could look at the exact time. Like I could see like, oh yeah, that was at like 10:37, and I could check my heart rate monitor and be like, okay, what was my heart rate at 10:37? Did it jump up? Like, was there anything special about it? Does that indicate anything about me and my trading? I don't know. It might be helpful, it might not. Probably not. I mean, it's probably like a little useless thing, but it's like, it would be cool. It'd be cool to know, at least. That probably goes in the direction of like being too fancy with it. I've definitely been pretty unfocused today, but it's really slow and there's not much to focus on. Just kind of waiting to see if prices are going to come back and confirm this downtrend. If that's correct, I mean, I don't know. It could be. There's a few touches on this side. There's a couple touches on this side. But overall, I mean, the clear overall structure that I know is correct is the range. It's just a matter of, is this also correct? And as far as that range goes, I mean, maybe you have a spike in channel coming up here. It's definitely a possibility. I'm still not convinced about this one. I guess it could even be something like this. Huh. Maybe it already has a break. That's interesting. I didn't even consider that. Well, then you might as well just go like this. Whoops. I mean, I did consider that this could be correct, you know, of course. Shoot, maybe. I don't know. Don't really know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a day. I'm not really like that focused. Prices are moving really slow. I think it's probably best to just call it. I'm gonna look at some other. I'm gonna look at the Nasdaq and the oils, whatever, and see what those charts look like.